Once upon a time, deep in the heart of a sun-dappled forest, there were 3 little pigs who decided it was time to build their very own houses. Now, these weren't ordinary pigs. Oh no, these pigs had big dreams and even bigger hearts, and they couldn't wait to start their new lives in their brand new homes. The first piglet wore a jaunty set of blue overalls that matched his bright eyes and a playful spirit. He carried a large bundle of straw over his shoulder, which would become the roof of his cozy little house. The second piglet was a bit of a klutz, but his heart was always in the right place. He wore a pair of green suspenders that crisscrossed over his pink shirt, and he carefully balanced a stack of sticks on his head. The third piglet was the smartest of them all. He wore a pair of round glasses perched on his snout, and he held a rolled-up blueprint in his hoof. His red shirt was neatly tucked into his pants, and he surveyed the area with a critical eye. All 3 piglets were excited to get started, and they wasted no time in setting off through the trees toward their dream homes. As they walked, they sang a cheerful song, their voices echoing through the forest. The older piglet hummed a happy tune as he gathered materials for his sturdy brick home. He knew that it would take some time and effort, but the end result would be worth it. Meanwhile, the middle piglet struggled to keep his stack of sticks together, and he often tripped over his own feet. But he didn't let this discourage him. He just laughed and started gathering more sticks. The youngest piglet, on the other hand, was having no trouble at all. He skipped ahead of the others, his tail wagging excitedly. He couldn't wait to build his very own stick house. Before long, they had gathered all the materials they needed, and the 3 piglets got to work. The eldest piglet started laying the foundation for his brick house, carefully arranging each brick in its proper place. He worked diligently, knowing that a strong foundation was essential for a lasting home. The middle piglet began constructing his stick house, but he soon realized that he needed more sticks. So he took a break to go back into the forest and gather more materials. The youngest piglet, meanwhile, was struggling to put together his straw house. The straw kept falling down, and he wasn't sure what to do. Just when he was about to give up, the eldest piglet came to his rescue. He lent the youngest piglet some of his bricks so that he could build a sturdier structure. With the extra support, the straw house stood up and the youngest piglet beamed with gratitude. After many hours of hard work, the 3 piglets had built their dream homes. The eldest piglet's brick house was sturdy and strong. The middle piglet's stick house was charming and rustic, and the youngest piglet's straw house was cozy and inviting. As the sun began to set, the 3 piglets gathered together outside the eldest piglet's brick house. They were exhausted but happy with their accomplishments, and they couldn't wait to settle in and make their houses feel like home. Suddenly they heard a loud crash in the forest, and they all froze in fear. What could it be? Was it a bear? A wolf? Or something else entirely? Too scared to find out, they all ran into the brick house and huddled together until they heard whatever it was had passed by. Just then, a sly but not too scary wolf poked his head through the window. He was wearing a tattered brown vest and had a glint in his eye. Little pigs, let me in," he said in a smooth voice. "I'm just here for some tea and crumpets." The piglets peeked out the window and saw that the wolf was indeed wearing a teapot on his head and a plate of crumpets in his paws. "Well, that's awfully kind of you," said the eldest piglet cautiously. "But we're expecting company, and we don't have enough food for everyone." The wolf's ears drooped and he sighed dramatically. "Oh, I understand," he said with a theatrical air. "You want me to leave? Very well. I shall be on my way." And with that, he turned and lumbered away. The piglets watched him go, feeling sorry for the lonely wolf. But they were also relieved that he hadn't tried to blow their house down. But the wolf wasn't done yet. He had a score to settle with those pesky pigs. Sneaking around the side of the house, he took a deep breath and huffed. Huff! Huff! He puffed out his cheeks and blew a giant gust of air toward the house. but the brick house didn't budge. Amused by his own cleverness, the wolf repeated the trick. Huff, puff. But still the house stood firm. Dejected, the wolf slunk away to try his luck at the stick house. At the stick house, the wolf found an open window and stuck his head inside. Little pigs, let me in," he said, trying to sound menacing. But the piglets just stared back at him, unfazed. "Very well," the wolf said, throwing his hands up in the air. "If you won't let me in the nice way, then I'll huff and puff and blow your house down." And with that, he blew a mighty gust of air toward the house. The stick house shook, but it didn't fall down. The wolf huffed and puffed again, but the house stood firm. Frustrated, he stomped his foot and ran away. Finally, the wolf approached the straw house, where the youngest piglet was hiding. Little pig, let me in," he said, licking his chops in anticipation. The youngest piglet trembled with fear, but he knew that he had to be brave. "Not by the hair on my chinny chin," he said, quoting something his mother used to say. The wolf sneered and said, "Well, then I'll huff and puff and blow your house down." And with that, he blew a giant gust of air toward the house. The straw house flew away like a bird in the sky, and the youngest piglet squealed as he was blown through the air. Luckily, the wolf had thrown himself on the ground to avoid being hit by the flying straw, and the youngest piglet landed safely on top of him. When the other piglets heard the commotion, they rushed to the scene and found the wolf with the youngest piglet sitting on his back. "What happened?" they cried. The youngest piglet explained what had occurred, and the older piglets were furious. They charged toward the wolf, but he quickly got to his feet and ran away. The 3 piglets pursued him, and soon they all reached the brick house. Panting heavily, they looked back to see the wolf collapse on the ground with a comical expression of defeat. He had run out of breath and had no more tricks left. The piglets felt a pang of sympathy for the tired wolf, and the eldest piglet offered him a kind smile. "Would you like to come inside and rest for a bit?" he asked. The wolf hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Thank you," he said, his voice hoarse. "That would be lovely." And with that, he followed the piglets inside the house. As the evening wore on, the 3 piglets made the wolf feel right at home. They brought him a warm blanket to sit on, and the youngest piglet even shared his bed with him. The wolf was touched by their kindness, and he told them stories of his adventures in the forest. Before long, they were all fast friends, and the wolf never tried to blow their house down again. Instead, he became a regular visitor, and he and the 3 piglets lived happily ever after in the brick house in the forest. And now, dear listener, it's time for you to close your eyes and drift off to sleep. May your dreams be filled with happy pigs, friendly wolves, and cozy houses. Sweet dreams.